I always thought that the CBC was biased towards Justin Trudeau for ideological reasons. They're left-wing, he's left-wing. I thought it was also for reasons of class. They're Eastern Canadian elites who prefer Trudeau because he's one of their own kind, a spoiled trust fund playboy, as opposed to a middle-class Calgarian like Stephen Harper. And most of all, I thought it was for pure financial self-interest. Justin Trudeau promised the CBC a $150 million success fee if he won the election, pretty much a taxpayer bribe to thousands of journalists. While every other media company in Canada is laying off hundreds of employees, Trudeau offered every CBC employee a job guarantee if he won. That's what I thought, because that's what we all knew. So when Peter Mansbridge spent half the election campaign grilling Stephen Harper about Mike Duffy, but giving Justin Trudeau softball interviews and fanboy-style coverage, it wasn't particularly surprising. It was unseemly for a government broadcaster to be so partisan, but then again, it was unseemly for the CBC's Journalists Union, the Canadian Media Guild, to register as an official anti-Harper campaign group with Elections Canada. But look, I don't think the network of Jian Ghomeshi really cares what people think about its bad behavior as long as it gets paid. But then yesterday, an independent muckraking journalist named Jesse Brown, who helped expose Jian Ghomeshi's predations of the CBC, well, Jesse Brown dug up a home video on the internet. Let me show 20 seconds of it to you. It's a personal video, a home movie, of a luxury wedding at an Italian villa. The wedding was between two elite Ottawa insiders, Kate Purchase, who is Justin Trudeau's top spin doctor, and Perry Tsergas, another Ottawa insider, a former Liberal operative who now works for Katie Purchase's dad, Bruce Anderson, at an Ottawa PR agency called I2. Here, I called it a home movie, but it's actually much more gorgeous and artsy than any home movie you've ever made. It looks sort of like a Lana Del Rey music video, because these are the beautiful people. Take a look at this dreamy wedding music video for 30 seconds and tell me if you spot anyone special making a cameo appearance. That was Peter Mansbridge there. I don't know, it looked like he was actually officiating at the wedding or something in Italy. I mean, he wasn't just a wedding guest. He was what, the priest or something? I didn't know that CBC journalists had the power to officiate at weddings, but there he was. Wow. The objective, nonpartisan anchor of Canada's state broadcaster, the man we all trust to play it straight, to be neutral, to cover elections even-handedly. He jetted to Italy to officiate at the wedding of Justin Trudeau's communications director, Katie Purchase. It puts things in a whole new light. Take Mansbridge's fawning, obsequious, 24-minute suck-up to Justin Trudeau the other day. Did you see this? I won't call it journalism. Just take a look.
Remember your first time going up, sir?
No, I think my dad made us take the stairs.
You remember this?
Oh, it's totally different from when it was as a kid.
Wearing the same tie?
That'll
it's
never
slightly
work.
different color.
I'm going to take a lot of crap for that.
yeah.
How do you handle all this? You know, like what comes with the job? The limo, the arm, bulletproof, bomb-proof, whatever it is. How do you handle that? Because that's not you.
We'll see.
Great. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Next hour, will be quite something.
Appreciate it.
Okay. We're on a bus heading up Parliament Hill. So it has that symbolism, I guess. It's not limos, it's bus. Very good. All right, you got it.
Good Lord. Just get a room already. Seriously, it was so gross that even other journalists who love Justin Trudeau just couldn't control their gag reflex. All of a sudden, that didn't just look like a reporter who was our advocate, our guide into the world of Trudeau. Now we see it for what it really was, though. Peter Mansbridge had a deep, private, personal connection into Trudeau's world, his inner circle. And yet, Mansbridge was pretending that he was awestruck for our benefit. But he wasn't an outsider getting a peek inside. He was a Trudeau insider, pretending to be on the outside looking in, pretending to be a journalist, but he's really a PR man. I mean, read this from Mansbridge's diary, written with all the dignity and restraint of a junior high school girl who just got to meet Justin Bieber. It's his diary called How the Nationals' Justin Trudeau Access Doc Came Together. Peter Mansbridge says he appealed to Liberals' openness and transparency pledge to gain access. Really? Is that how it happened? Here, get this. Here's how Mansbridge described his bold journalistic attempt to crack the fortress of Trudeau's media operation. Let me quote. Ready? The same weighing of risk and reward almost certainly occurs inside any Prime Minister's office when the access request lands on the desk of the Director of Communications. Yeah, wow. I wonder what Kate Purchase, the Director of Communications, would say to Peter Mansbridge, the man who jetted all the way to Italy for their luxury wedding, when he made an access request to her. I'm going to say, she said, yes, but only if you make it dreamy, like our wedding movie was. To which Mansbridge obviously said, no, not that dreamy. It will be dreamier.
Are we wearing the same tie? Yeah,
That'll never
slightly
work.
different color.
I'm going to take a lot of crap for that.
Let me read a bit more from Mansbridge's fan diary. Quote, I had been trying hard since election night to get inside the new PMO as it went through transition from contender to government. Yeah, I bet that was hard for you, Peter. Quote, I played the you talk of openness and transparency, so prove it card. Well, that actually seemed to curry some favor, at least with some in the inner Trudeau circle. When the person they call the boss signed off, it was a go. Earlier this week, and away we went. The person they call the boss, eh? I guess it would be a bit weird for Mansbridge to have actually written my friend Katie instead. I love how Mansbridge ends his diary before he closes it up and locks it with a little key and kisses it and puts it under his pillow at night. He wrote, does it signal that the new government will truly be open and transparent moving forward? It's a large ask. Prime Minister Trudeau says he believes it's the right thing to do, unquote. Look, there's nothing illegal about Peter Mansbridge being close, personal, family friends with the Director of Communications of the Liberal Party, now the Liberal government. There's nothing illegal about it at all. I don't even think it would be unethical if it were disclosed to viewers, so people would know about Mansbridge's personal interests and could therefore discount his giddiness and pro-Trudeau bias. I think that if Mansbridge had disclosed that publicly in advance, the CBC might have made the decision to have someone else do the feature interview with Trudeau during the election in the park that day, rather than Mansbridge. I think the CBC might have had someone else chair their election panels on the National instead of Mansbridge. It would have just looked too cozy otherwise. But would the CBC really do that? Really pull their top man out of the game? Really their only remaining talent now that Jian Ghomeshi is gone? No. Jesse Brown, the reporter who publicized this wedding video, contacted the CBC's head of public affairs, Chuck Thompson, the same crisis manager the CBC put on the Ghomeshi scandal. Thompson told Brown, quote, there was no conflict of interest. Oh, well, then no problem, right? The Ghomeshi guy says everything is okay. Kate Purchase herself told Brown, quote, we have always been very diligent in keeping our personal and private lives separate. Really? But Purchase told Brown she in fact did help arrange Mansbridge's Cinderella carriage ride with Trudeau. Look, spin doctors are gonna spin. Is this a problem? As always, swap out Liberals for Conservatives and you tell me. What if, say, the great Lloyd Robertson of CTV fame had, secretly, without disclosing it to viewers, flown to an exotic resort destination to preside over the wedding of the disgraced Conservative couple, Dimitri Soudis and Eve Adams, when Soudis was Stephen Harper's Director of Communications. And Lloyd Robertson didn't tell anyone and had deep personal relationships with both of them. would anyone believe that Lloyd Robertson's reports on Dimitri Soudis and Eve Adams, when they made news, would be fair and objective reports? And when the news leaked out later about the wedding, would the rest of the media party just shrug their shoulders and say, oh, no big deal, it's a private matter, as most of the media have done with this Mansbridge scandal? As my friend Manny Montenegrino put it on Twitter, if I was a hockey player and refs kept blowing the whistle on my team and rarely on the other, and then had drinks with the other team, I'd stop playing hockey. But Manny, look, the whole thing is rigged. I mean, the wedding is just the aha moment. Take this guy, Bruce Anderson. He's Kate Purchase's dad. You can see him walking the bride to her wedding. Mazel tov. He runs a government relations firm in Ottawa, including an ad agency representing many controversial industries that are in the news and covered by Peter Mansbridge. So how did Bruce Anderson end up on Peter Mansbridge's marquee political panel called At Issue? I understand why Chantal Hébert is on it. She leans liberal, but she's smart, she's independent, and she's a famous journalist in her own right. She's probably Canada's most read journalist, appearing both in Quebec newspapers and in the Toronto Star. So I get it, having her on. And then there's Andrew Coyne. I mean, he leans liberal, and he's related to Justin Trudeau, too. His cousin had a child out of wedlock with Pierre Trudeau. Ottawa is a very incestuous place. Everyone's drinking each other's bathwater, but at least Andrew Coyne is a journalist in his own right, widely published and read. And then add Bruce Anderson to that mix? A hired gun? Just some guy with a small ad agency pushing government relations clients? It really didn't make a lot of sense, did it? One of these things is not like the other. And what a conflict of interest. He was the father of the Liberal Communications Director, Katie Purchase. But he was pretending to be neutral on a political panel? What a laugh. Until you learn that his daughter is Kate Purchase, of course, the woman Mansbridge helped marry, and that Kate Purchase's husband, Perry Tsergas, works for Anderson at his ad agency. It really doesn't get any cozier, does that? How can the CBC justify having the father of the Liberal Director of Communications on the panel for so long? He's not a journalist. He's not independent. It was always weird. Now it's not weird because they're all in the family. Here's some comedy. Jesse Brown contacted the CBC and Purchase in advance of publishing his story. As you can see, as I showed you, the CBC dug in saying, oh, there's no problem. Purchase dug in saying, there's no problem. I mean, liberal ethics, CBC ethics, same diff. But look at what Bruce Anderson did. He immediately quit the CBC's At Issue panel. Here's what he wrote. He said, when Mr. Trudeau was the leader of the third party, I felt that the risk of a real or perceived conflict was limited and manageable. But I do feel that with the election results on October 19th, the risk is different. The conversation during the At Issue panel is regularly a discussion of how the government of the day is doing, including its communications effectiveness, unquote. Oh, really? So during the election campaign, it was no problem that he was the dad of Kate Purchase, Trudeau's communications director. And even with the election and after the election, it was still no problem. And even during the swearing in and the choosing of cabinet, it was no problem. But the day before Jesse Brown's revelation comes out, suddenly it's an ethical problem. Look, I don't believe he suddenly came down with a case of ethics. I believe he was just finally caught. That he and Peter Mansbridge and Kate Purchase and Perry Tsergas and I2 Communications were all close family friends. And that's the CBC. They hide their conflicts of interest. They cover up problems like Ghomeshi. Here's one example. To this day, they have another liberal activist, Jonathan Kay, on their second-tier farm team political panel run by Mansbridge's ex-wife, Wendy Mesley. Oh, it's always a family affair at the CBC. Jonathan Kay, as you know, secretly took cash to ghostwrite Justin Trudeau's campaign autobiography and hid that fact from National Post readers when he was comment editor there until it was revealed publicly by others. So every day when he was working at the National Post as the comment editor, he made decisions about what would run in their comment pages about Justin Trudeau while he was being paid under the table to write Justin Trudeau's campaign book. That's unethical. And he didn't admit it until he was outed, just like Peter Mansbridge and Bruce Anderson were outed. And now Kay is on Wendy Mesley's CBC show and called a journalist, but he's never introduced as Trudeau's paid ghostwriter. But hey, it's the CBC. I mean, what are you going to do about it? Cancel your subscription or something? Enjoy your $1 billion a year in taxpayer subsidies to them. What are you going to do? Well, we've got a petition to sell the CBC. Please sign it at sellthecbc.ca. Now, I know the Liberals would never sell the CBC. I know that. I mean, why would Katie Purchase ever want to stop Peter Mansbridge from using the state broadcaster as a Liberal mouthpiece? Mansbridge has been very, very good to Trudeau's team and to Katie Purchase and to her dad, Bruce Anderson. The Liberals are going to repay the favor 150 million times over.